Have you ever looked at your own reflection? Felt like a stranger, like behind your eyes? There's someone tired of pretending to be okay? You smile, you nod, but inside, something is cracking. Quietly, privately, and no one seems to notice. But what if I told you that the version of you that's falling apart is not the end of you, it's the beginning? What if the pain you carry is not a curse, but a call? A call to remember that you were never fragile. You were just never awakened. This is not about motivation. This is about remembering. This is about standing in the fire and realizing you are the flame. Have you ever felt like everything was just too heavy? Like life kept pushing you toward the edge and you weren't sure if you could hold on another day? In the silence, a question quietly forms. Am I strong enough for this? But that question alone is already proof of your strength. The weak don't ask. The weak have already given up. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." We mistake strength as something external when in truth, it begins with how we choose to see. How you think about pain, failure, or fear is what decides whether you will rise or break. Neuroscience agrees. The brain's fear center, the amygdala, can be overruled by your reasoning mind. You are not a hostage to your emotions. You are the one who names them. You can feel afraid, yet still walk forward. You can feel doubt and still stand tall. Think of the people you admire, those who kept going even when their world fell apart. What made them different? Not that they never felt tired, but they stopped asking the world to be easy and started training themselves to be strong. That's the Stoic path. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that we don't suffer from events themselves, but from the meaning we attach to them. And if we can change that meaning, we can change our lives. So when hardship comes, don't ask, why me? Ask, who can I become through this? Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor strengthens the body." You may not be able to avoid pain, but you can choose what it means. And sometimes just by refusing to give up, you prove something the world can't see. But your soul already knows you're not weak, you're becoming. So the next time the storm rolls in, when the weight feels too much and the air feels tight, don't run, don't surrender. Remind yourself, I am stronger than I think, because strength doesn't live in your muscles. But in the moment, you want to break, and choose not to. Pain comes in many forms: loss, failure, betrayal. It speaks in whispers and screams. But underneath every ache, pain is asking the same question. Will you break? This is where the Stoics leaned in. Not because they loved pain, but because they understood it. Pain isn't punishment. It's invitation, an opening, a chance to become. Marcus Aurelius lost more than most: his children, his peace, his health. But instead of collapsing, he wrote, he turned his grief into reflection. He didn't ask, why me? He asked, what now? His pain became his teacher. Modern psychology calls it post-traumatic growth. The paradox where suffering, when faced with clarity, can lead to deeper gratitude, greater meaning, and an unshakable sense of self. Not because the pain disappears, but because you are transformed by it. So don't run from pain. Sit with it. Listen to it. What is it asking you to release? What is it forcing you to face? Sometimes pain arrives not to destroy you, but to reveal the parts of you that are still waiting to grow. You've been here before, the night you thought would never end, the failure you thought would define you. But look at you now. That pain didn't break you. It built you. It stripped away the unnecessary and left behind something quieter, stronger. Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself. Without hardship, we grow wide. With it, we grow deep. Let your suffering refine you. Let your scars speak of your resilience, not as signs of weakness, but as symbols of becoming." Most of our pain isn't caused by what actually happens. It's caused by what we believe it means. Silence becomes rejection. A delay feels like failure. We suffer not from the event itself, but from the story we tell about it. The Stoics saw this long before psychology gave it a name. Epictetus said, "Men are not disturbed by things, but by the views they take of them. What you see is shaped by what you believe, and what you believe can be challenged. Cognitive science tells us the brain fills in gaps with fear, not fact. The mind, trying to protect you, often locks you inside a prison of imagined threats. But you are not your thoughts. You are the observer, and that means you can choose. When someone doesn't respond, can you say they might be struggling too? When plans fall apart, can you whisper, maybe this is redirection? When things don't go your way, can you pause and ask, is this truly bad or just unexpected? You see, the lens shapes the world. Clean the lens and you change the world you see. Choose a lens of growth. Choose meaning over victimhood. Don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can this teach me? Epictetus had nothing. Number freedom. No wealth-only philosophy. But he had the most powerful thing of all, the ability to pause, to observe his reaction and choose another path. And in that moment, he was free. So next time you feel overwhelmed, before you act, before you spiral, pause and ask, what story am I telling myself? In that pause lives your strength. And sometimes the difference between suffering and peace is a single thought seen differently. There is a strength no one talks about, not the strength to fight, but the strength to stay still, to not react, to hold your ground, even when the world is spinning around you. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not master of himself, and yet most of us are ruled by everything but ourselves, by hurry, by fear, by the constant need to respond. Stillness isn't weakness, it's a decision. It's the refusal to let the outside dictate the inside. Modern neuroscience calls this response inhibition, the ability to pause and choose better instead of reacting worse. Think of how many things you've said in anger, how many actions you've taken in fear. What if you could rewind those moments and trade them for stillness, not silence out of fear, but silence born from power, that is Stoic calm. In a world addicted to movement, stillness is rebellion. When others rush, observe. When others shout, listen. Stillness doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you do only what matters. Everything else is noise, Seneca wrote. He who is brave is free. But sometimes bravery means standing still, when every voice around you tells you to run, to breathe through the fire, to hold your peace, like a sword in its sheath. So the next time your heart races, when life pushes you to act in panic, do something powerful, do nothing. Just for a moment. Let the storm pass, and let your silence speak. There's a battle no one sees, not between you and the world, but between you and yourself. Between what you want to say and what you know you shouldn't. Between the impulse to react and the wisdom to wait. Epictetus taught, freedom is the power to control our own mind. But most of us are prisoners of habits, of ego, of old pain. We think strength is control over others, but the greatest strength is control over self. That is where the real war is won. There will be moments when you want to explode, to lash out, to prove yourself right. But remember, not every emotion deserves a voice. Not every feeling is a command. Self-mastery is the art of choosing which voices to believe, and which to release, into silence. Neuroscience shows that the more we practice restraint, the more we rewire the brain's default reactions. That's called neuroplasticity. It means strength can be trained, can become calmer, more aware, less reactive. Not by suppressing emotion, but by becoming larger than it. Seneca once said, a man who conquers himself is greater than one who conquers a city, 'cause ego is louder than truth. Impulse is faster than wisdom. And nothing is harder than staying grounded when your pride is screaming to rise. So ask yourself, can I pause when I want to explode? Can I stay quiet when silence protects my peace? Can I choose dignity over domination, clarity over chaos? That's the Stoic way. Not a life without emotion, but a life where emotion bows to understanding. Because true power isn't about having the last word. It's about not needing it. And that is mastery. You didn't just survive, you transformed. You walked through fire and found your own shape inside the flames. You mastered the storm, not by silencing it, but by learning to stand still within it. Most people chase strength, but you uncovered it. Not from outside validation, but from the quiet victories, the moments you could have broken, but chose to breathe instead. You used to think strength was something loud, but now you know, true power is silent. It speaks in restraint. It lives in stillness. It grows in solitude, and it remembers always who it is. The Stoics never promised a painless life. They promised clarity. They taught that a person who controls themselves cannot be controlled by the world. Now you don't just believe that truth, you've become it. So pause now, not to escape, but to return to the part of you that's always been waiting, unshaken, unbothered, unbreakable. You are not the noise around you. You are the stillness beneath it. You are stronger than you think, not because you never fall, but because you rise differently now. With grace, with wisdom, with calm eyes, and a quiet soul, and when life tests you again, it will. Whisper back, not in fear, but in memory. I've been here before. I know who I am, and I no longer need to prove it. So now you know. You've always had the strength. It was never gone, only buried. Beneath fear, beneath doubt, beneath the noise of a world that told you to rush instead of listen. But tonight, you didn't just listen, you remembered. So before you go, pause, breathe, close your eyes, and ask yourself quietly, what kind of strength lives in me when no one's watching? If this message found you at the right moment, let it echo in someone else's life too. Share this video. Leave a word below, something honest, even if it's just, I'm still here. And if you want to keep walking this quiet path of clarity and depth and real strength, you know where to find me, right here, waiting for the next step we'll take together.